that time again. Grab a friend, sit down, unwind a bit. Tack and J, keeping it real. Can't you see the appeal? They got the jokes, the smoke, and the current events. You know the deal. Soak up that lemon water, tell all your friends. Encouragement for your flourishment is where we begin. Have you heard of it? It's substance. Where have you been? Free your mind. It's the best podcast in the land. If you don't understand.
Welcome back to another episode of Living Water Chronicles podcast, man. I'm your host, T.
And this is J-A-Y.
Man, and tonight we have none other than the highly talented, it's just Jazz in the building. I'll give it up for you. So, Jazz, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Man, we appreciate you coming on, man. You know, how's it been going, man? What's going on with you right now?
Everything's great. Even in the midst of the pandemic, I'm working.
Right.
That's a blessing.
That's a blessing in itself. I'm working. I really haven't missed a beat. If anything, things have gotten better in my professional life. My music is taking off. Again, in the midst of the pandemic, I've done a lot. So I'm grateful for that.
That's real.
Everything's great.
I got a real important question before we get started, for real. So, like, how much is it for, like, a XL shirt? Because I see you got that shirt on. I'm trying. I'm all about representing. So,
here's the thing with the shirts. I had a show that got canceled on Valentine's Day. And I knew it was going to be cold, so I got these shirts made for the show, and that's where they came about. And I didn't know they were going to take off. Now everybody wants a shirt.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm working on a shirt line for the summer.
Excellent.
So it's in the works. So hopefully by June of 2021, we'll have some shirts.
Bet.
Dope.
I'm trying to wear mine at one of your shows, so that way y'all know, you already know what's up, because I'm a huge...
For sure, I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a dope shirt.
Thank you.
Man. We love, drummers love t-shirts and love, I would say, joggers, because it's like the easiest stuff to play in for you to look at and all that. So
because I'm comfortable.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
Man. So this is a question that we usually like to lead in with. When life is giving you lemons, when have you found yourself making lemon water?
When life is giving me lemons, when have I found myself making lemon water? Honestly, that's a daily thing for me. I'm that person. I'm very positive. I try to be, at least. If anything is to go down, I try to look at the opposite end. Okay, look, you know, work might have sucked today, but again, how we just were discussing, I persevered. I made it to the end of the day.
Right.
You know, you can't be negative all day long. You can't look at the negative side of things every time. You have to always look at the positive, the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's really a daily walk for me. But to narrow it down a bit, that's my everyday life because my job sucks for me sometimes. So I always just try to keep it positive. I'm employed. Thank God for that. So I try to just look at that aspect of things.
Got to keep it simple, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's just not worth, because you can only control what you can control, right? So
literally.
You should just try to live life in a way to where you can, because there's always going to be a miscalculation somewhere. You always gonna think you have a plan in your mind, and you think you're gonna execute the plan for the most part, but it's gonna be something that's gonna come your way that you didn't see coming. It's gonna throw you off, and it's gonna miscalculate some things. So you can't live life just thinking about, damn, what's the thing that I'm missing. You have to play the hands
that you can't change.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Life is short. Today could be our last day. You never know. So why live with a negative mindset, or just that nothing's going to go exactly the way you want it to go.
Nope.
You have to be willing to accept that and move around it, move accordingly.
I kind of like, I took it from the Michael Athy, your drummer. He came on Our show probably
best drummer in the world. Shout out to Mike Athy.
Mike Athy, man.
Oh, okay. So you know Mike too.
Yeah, the better makes you better, man. That was an episode that really had taken us somewhere, you know, like mentally, spiritually, and all that. And you know how he is. That he's
a very wise guy.
Yes, he's gonna make you think. Yeah. How were the holidays for you?
Holidays were great for me. Started with Thanksgiving. I got to go home. Again, I went to Birmingham, spent the day with my family, had to be at work the next day. So I had to come right back. And Christmas was great. I spent the Christmas holiday in Memphis with my best friend because her birthday is around Christmas. So we did that whole thing, and Memphis is Memphis. I'll just say that for now.
Oh yeah.
We'll keep it cute. Memphis is Memphis. I had a great time, though, needless to say.
Have you ever performed in Memphis?
I have not. I probably shouldn't say this on here, but I don't think I'm ready for Memphis. I'm scared of Memphis.
Nah, man, they ready for you, probably.
Man, they just may be, but I'm scared of them. That's for sure. If you know anything about Memphis, it's a huge staple for music.
Right.
And like vocalists, it's a lot of major vocalists that come out of Memphis that still live there. Even on a lower scale, they're killing.
Right. That's right.
So I'm just trying to, live up to their expectations.
I mean, if y'all have never seen Jazz perform, you truly you missing a gem. You need to check it out because she always have her stuff together. She got a playlist, right? Background singers, even if they're background singers that may not have been someone that she works with regularly, she's a professional. Like all of her stuff is together. And so if you met her and like I went to school with her, so she was very together even in school, even if she felt like she wasn't, she kept it very well packaged as far as like anything she was putting her hands on, name on, work on. So oh yeah, man. Like the last show recently you went, it was the local artist lineup at the Mars Music Hall in Huntsville, Alabama. And that show was fire. So, I mean, like for you said that's a group you don't normally work with, right?
Yes. It wasn't my norm. It wasn't my usual band. I didn't have my usual backgrounds. A few of them were my background singers, but one of them were my background singers, but the other ones weren't my usual. So it was a bit different. And I didn't get to kind of march to the beat of my own drum at that show, which is cool. Right. So it was something kind of different for me. I was stretched a bit, but that's, I guess, the challenge of being an artist, being stretched and doing different things, getting outside of your comfort zone. I think it all makes you better at the end of the day.
That's real.
So yeah, it helped, but they weren't my usual people. I was a little bit uncomfortable at first, but I made it through. As long as my thing is, no matter what I have going on behind the scenes, once I'm there and I'm in front of people who take their time out to come and support something that I'm doing, I have to put my best foot forward regardless. Yes. So that's what I try my best to do. So hopefully I was successful at that. I feel like I was.
Man, yeah. You knocked it out of the park because you did was it 4 songs? 3
or 5, maybe?
Yeah, it was like, and it was like,
maybe it was 4. I think it was 4.
It was like a set too.
Yeah, it was a cute little 20, 25-minute set.
So this is a question I like to ask like most musicians that come on the show. How many practices or rehearsals do you usually like to get in before you do a show?
How many would I like to get in? I would like to practice at least 2 to 3 times a month.
Okay, yeah.
That's how many times I would like to. Now, how many times I actually do practice before a show? Maybe 2. Every now and then, because the most difficult part the most difficult thing that I'm learning now as a new and up and coming artist is how we were saying earlier, nothing is gonna go the way that you want it to go.
Never does.
Ever. Even when it comes down to rehearsals, shows, getting musicians together is the hardest thing in the world because I'm not a musician.
Right.
Well, I don't play an instrument.
Right.
So I have to depend on
Art.
instrumentalists to make my job work. So if I have a show, having to get the drummer, the keys, the guitarist, the bass all together at the same time, that's a task.
So what do
I
you
promise
prefer to be, how do you prefer to be addressed? Like a recording artist or just
Well, I'm not
creator?
recorded yet.
Okay.
We'll say yet. But just an artist, I suppose.
I mean,
I'm a singer.
let me know, man, because I know
Yeah.
a guy that has like his own little makeshift studio through the crib, and he can,
Now, I've started building my own in-home studio. I'm just not, like I was
Okay.
telling you earlier, I don't know how to work my stuff. So I gotta go. I have to get a teacher, somebody to teach me how to do everything. But hopefully this year, the goal by the end of this year is to have recorded music.
Okay.
And I've been working with some people, some writers, and we're getting there
That's a dope goal.
for sure.
So we got somebody on the live that said we weren't ready. Somebody that had went to the show said we weren't ready for you to leave. So that's what's up. Like when you had to go off for
Oh,
the
well, no, thank you.
That's what's up.
That's awesome. Tell him I said thank you. I appreciate that.
So question, Jazz. Like, as far as morning routines, do you like have one? Like, if so, what does it look like?
A morning routine.
Yeah.
I have a thing that I just started maybe in January. Every night I play jazz music until the morning. So I wake up to jazz music every morning. I wake up, I say, thank you, God, for another day. My skincare routine, I wash my face, shower, the basics. That's really it, though. Other than that, my time, my personal time in the morning is my music. That's it. Just listening to music, get me fresh, get my positive mindset going for the day. And that's how I start my day, with music, literally. Music
That's
is at the forefront of everything that I do. Music and prayer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You actually, the funny thing is, you actually may have indirectly answered one of the questions that we have. But speaking of music, like, what would you consider your favorite genre of music? Because I know with you being a singer, your catalog, and I'm sure you have a lot of different tastes that you like to, sing or style or whatnot. So what type of music do you generally like gravitate to, or would you consider calling your favorite?
Naturally, I'm a big oldies fan.
Okay.
I love old school music, whether it be soul music. Soul is what I sing majority of the time, but I'm one of those people. I grew up in a household with a singer. My mom's a singer as well. So my mom, shout out to my mother, Bruno McKenzie, she exposed me to so many different types of music. I was listening to folk music, country music, rock music, pop music, gospel, soul music, all kinds. She literally exposed me to some of everything. So now it's still the same. I follow suit. I listen to everything. And my motto is, if it sounds good, I'm going to listen to it. You can be singing in French, Spanish. If it sounds good to me,
right,
I'm rocking with it.
Yeah, I guess how it makes you feel as well. Like,
yeah,
you get that vibe.
Feel good music. I love feel good music.
Right. So what's like an example of good feel good music? Who are like 2 to 3 artists that you want to name off that are feel good music for folks who might not know, or say how we nerds, we get together and just be rattling stuff off and it's like, oh, I didn't know that, I didn't know about this person. Then you get to go down the whole discography and it's like an adventure.
Well, I gotta give you a classic.
I'm with it.
Stevie Wonder. Anytime I'm riding to Stevie, it's a feel good vibe.
All day.
Stevie makes me feel great. Who else can I say? I'm listening to Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Bruno Mars is one of those people, like, you listening to Bruno, you riding down the street, you dancing, you jamming, it don't matter where you're at, you're in the grocery store, you hear a Bruno Mars song, you automatically, you feel a little bit better. Make you want to dance and move a little bit.
Those frequencies, man.
I guess I can say BB and CC, they make me feel good. I like music that reminds me of my upbringing. Like, that takes me back to being that little girl riding in the back seat of my mama's car. Like, play that song over again, because I like that. I don't know what they talking about, but play it over again, because it sounds good to me, and it made me feel good. It made me feel away. So, yeah.
Nostalgic.
That would be my top 3. Y'all know anything about BB and CC?
I can't name their songs, but I do know.
Yeah,
I am familiar with them.
I have a love-hate relationship with digital music just because I like hard copies. I still like having vinyl. I still like having discs.
Oh, come on now.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just
I just started my vinyl collection last year. Yes.
Oh, so how many do you have roughly, like ballpark range?
6.
Nice.
I have 6. I have
more than most.
Michael Jackson. I have the Off the Wall. I want to say
Off the Wall. Boy, he's standing like off a brick wall. Like,
yeah. That's what I have. I have Amy Winehouse. I have John Mayer. I have Prince. And I have PJ Morton.
Okay.
Yeah, the last live recording that PJ Morton did. I have it on vinyl.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a dope collection. Hey, it's not really talked about, but vinyls are expensive. Like, like I was in Target the other day, and I don't have vinyls. I don't have a vinyl player. Maybe I will one day. It's a very underrated, expensive item.
Depending on who you're buying,
yeah,
they can cost up to like $200. But I've seen $200 vinyls, literally, depending on what you're trying to buy. Like Prince. That's hot stuff. That's gonna run you about $80-$90, depending on where you get it from. When they look up and find it somewhere cheaper, but it's gonna cost you.
Yep.
Like, the more classic the album, even Lil Wayne's album. What was a big album that he did? I think with a Millie on it. I don't know the name.
Part of 3.
I saw that in a record store, $80.
Oh yeah. Just to have to reproduce that technology, I would imagine that's probably why it's so expensive. Like, you're having to resurrect something from the dead. In a sense, it's like if they try to like bring back 8-track players and stuff like that. Like that technology now, it can be done because anything can be done. But the blessing would be like if you already had an 8-track collection from previous years that you just held on.
There you go.
Yep.
And if I had known, like, my family, they were big on stuff like that. They threw all of that stuff out. Yep. And if I had known, then what I know now,
that's that hurt.
Let's put it in a box somewhere and store it in the garage, and we'll knock the dust off when it's time, when time permits. But yeah, we threw a lot of vinyls away. Oh, like Jackson 5. Trash. Gone.
Dang. And I was
because we thought it would never come full circle, and here it is. Vinyl.
And that's not something you can find in the store either. A Jackson 5 album, like even a CD, you'll have a like hard time finding Jackson 5 stuff. So
if you do find it again, it's like expensive to get.
I could believe that. Yeah, my aunt actually had. I don't know if it was passed down to her or what, but I just remember as a kid because I used to be at my aunt's house a lot, and she had like a tall stereo looking system, and I used to be so infatuated with it as a kid because it was just like, man, all of this stuff, like, what does it do?
Yeah.
And she used to have this like crazy stack of like vinyls, and I used to just remember going through them as a kid, not knowing what they were. They just looked like overgrown CDs to me. So, and she and I'm pretty sure they got thrown out, but because I haven't, I haven't seen them in like years, and if you do still have them, they packed the place somewhere. But yeah, it's crazy.
Vinyl are coming back.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are making vinyl out of their newer albums because they're coming back. Like it's a new thing. It's a big thing now to where artists are putting their music out in vinyl.
Oh, it's dope.
Yeah.
I think it's very necessary.
Super dope.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I guess we can look forward to you putting yours out on vinyl too.
Hey now.
So, I mean,
you gotta speak when you receive it. I do support that.
When did a question came through that said, when did you know that you fell in love with singing and music in general? Like, what was that aha moment for you?
Singing and music in general. Again, my mom, she sang, and her mom, my grandmother, she sang as well, and she comes from a musical family. Okay. So my maternal side has it. My grandmother, all of her, somewhere between 6 to 8 siblings, they're all singers, gospel, of course, well, not of course, but they all started out singing gospel. I have an uncle who is in the Gospel Hall of Fame. Wow. And I want to say some part of Alabama.
Okay.
So just being around that in itself, me as a little girl, I'm hearing all these grown folks just flat foot, no microphones. We sitting in the living room. It's that type of situation. We couldn't have any family event, funerals, weddings, graduations without singing.
Right.
And we not talking somebody sitting at the keyboard and we got drums and we got a guitar. None of that. Again, I'm talking flat foot singing. So that's kind of what I saw growing up. And again, my mom, she was a gospel singer. So it was never a day where I didn't hear her sing. That's something she did every single day of my life growing up. She sang, whether it was in the car, taking us to school, we were singing something. So seeing her was a huge inspiration for me and what I do now. Right. And then another huge staple for me was one of my favorite singers, Kim Burrell. Again, my mom, she played Kim Burrell, her first a big album, Everlasting Life album. That was the album that made me say, okay, you know, I know my family sing, but this right here, now this is singing. Right. So I'm down to do what I'm hearing. Like I fell in love with music after that. The whole musicality of things, just a different way of singing. And that's what did it for me. Kim Burrell is one of my favorite singers in the entire world. One of the best vocalists. She made me want to be a vocalist for sure.
Okay.
My mom and her. And that album, the Everlasting Life album. So if y'all have never heard that album, it's gospel, but it's one of the most amazing albums ever. Jazz, gospel, little soul, little R&B, all in one. All in one. Amazing album. And that's what did it for me.
That's dope. That's actually one of the questions that we had. Like, you know, who did you draw inspiration from? You know, as far as like your style of singing, because that after listening to you sing and listening to some of the performances that you have in your social media, I was curious myself. I'm like, okay, I wonder who she drawing inspiration from. It's got to be someone dope though, because your sound is amazing. So it just gives me like nostalgic type feelings, like you said, like the stuff that we used to grow up listening to. That's what it sound like. Yeah.
Right.
And I try to be what I like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I try to be for people what I want to hear. And I like things that remind me of my childhood, that puts you back in the car where you just in the car just riding and you listening and you feel good, you know? And that's what I want to be for people. I want one day for people to be able to ride and listen to my music, and everything just feels better. But going back to what you asked, who I draw inspiration from: 1, Kim Burrell; 2, my family; 3, I have Jasmine Sullivan is one of my favorite singers as well. But I try to be a sponge. I literally, like I said, listen to all kinds of music. So when I hear things, if I find something that I like, I learn from it. And I soak it all in, and I try to take that and put it into my sound. Incorporate it in my
So when
sound.
you like get into mode and like listening to music, what's like your favorite way to do that? Like, do you like to do it? You have like a designated room, or are you more of a? I'm always in car test mode. Do you like listening to it with just headphones and it's just you at the crib? Like walk us through what a listening session with Jazz is like.
Well, for one, I like everything loud. I'm that
Facts.
person. My neighbors probably hate me.
No,
I have huge speakers, like 4 different sets of speakers. My headphones, it doesn't matter. As long as it's loud. Again, I listen to music probably 85% of my day. Maybe 90. Maybe a little bit more than that. I listen to
I would
music
say
all day
100.
long. Yeah. Again, what I play my music on overnight is my TV. I airplay it. And then I keep that going until I get out for work. And then I get in the car and I do my car test. We
Yeah.
turn it all the way up. I'm a little ratchet. I roll my windows down when the weather is nice.
Go crazy
I
with
like
it.
to ride with my windows down and listening to my music real loud. I'm that person riding down the street, blasting Yolanda Adams,
Hey, I mean,
any given day. It doesn't matter. I'm the one
hey,
coming
let it
through the
ride,
neighborhood,
man.
music loud. So that's just how I do it. Anything loud. Speakers, it doesn't matter. Headphones, AirPod. When I'm at work, I keep an AirPod in all day. I keep something playing during the day.
Gotta
So
get through it.
all day long.
So are you a car singer or a bathroom singer?
Ah.
Both.
Oh.
I do them both. I go in the most though in the car. I've learned, because weird thing about me, I don't do well with learning lyrics or retaining
Okay.
song lyrics. So now I found a way. I drive around. I'm fascinated with big houses and nice neighborhoods. So
Yeah.
I'll ride around. I try not to do that with my windows down.
Yeah.
And I'll sing in the car. And I'll repeat it. Because in the car, you can sing as loud as you want to sing.
Fact.
Nobody hears you. I can mess up in the car. I can do whatever. That's just my space to where I learn my music.
I love it.
It's worked for me here lately, for sure. So now I ride around, and that's how I learn my song lyrics.
And so, with you talking about learning song lyrics, I already know. I have sometimes I have a hard time learning songs lick for lick, and I like to improvise and make it, like you said, take songs and implement them into your sound. And I like to do the same thing with just different drummers and different genres of music as well. And my wife and I, we test each other. She sings.
I was just about to ask that. Is she a musician?
She is, like in her own way.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? She does stuff for like the praise team, and you know what I'm saying? Like, she do it, but it's like, it's kind of like a vibe thing for her. Like, she has to be and I respect it, because I really wish, there's that. But she's a huge Jasmine Sullivan fan as well, and so like, she'll connect with you on that. Like, if y'all ever get in a room and get to talking, it's gonna be like a whole thing.
Come on now. We're gonna have us a good wine day.
I mean, yeah, I see you guys. What kind of wine you sipping on real quick just before we
little sweet red. Just a little
sweet red. Oh yeah, that's the Liberty Creek. Liberty Creek. Yeah, okay, I already know. So the other question I was gonna ask, like, when you learning those lyrics and songs, what do you like the most about performing live? Like, after you finalize your process of learning the song, like, what do you get out of that?
The crowd. I feed a lot off of the crowd. I like to make people feel good, because again, that's what I look for when I go to a live show. How I feel afterwards. How that makes me feel And that's why if you've been to my show now, like I do a lot of crowd interaction.
Yeah.
I like the crowd to sing with me. Let me know that you're here with me. And we can't all talk together, but we can sing together. You don't got to sing on the right note to sing with me either.
Right.
Just let me know that you're here with me. Let me know. That lets me know that you're there, you're present, you're enjoying yourself for one. And that's my ultimate goal, for my listeners to enjoy themselves and get a full experience with jazz and my music, and hopefully impact somebody, because you never know what people are going through. And for me, music is a saving grace. So with that, if I can help somebody, I may not be the biggest talker, I may not be the best prayer warrior or whatever, but if something that I think can uplift you and make you feel better, that's where I feel like I can be me and help somebody else. That's my what do I want to say? That's the gift that God is giving me. And I feel like that's my way of spreading that throughout the world. And that's through my music, uplifted through music.
Yeah, I can speak to you on the part where you said about like not knowing what people are going through and stuff like that. Because when we came to the show, we had like, oh God, it was like a crazy week. But like we were really looking forward to seeing like live music, and it had been so long since we had been able to do that, especially in this season with the pandemic and everything. So it's challenged us all. So like, what is besides, you said you've been working and you just now got back into singing more since it's being more, brought back out.
Yeah.
In the peak seasons of like this whole drought, what were you doing to keep yourself busy?
Can we be honest?
Oh yeah, it's up to you.
Ate a lot.
I feel it.
I did. I ate a lot. Because my job closed for like 5 weeks. And again, I'm one of those people, I feed off of just being out. I'm not an inside, stay at home all day. I'm not that person. Like literally, live music was a big thing for me. Not me just singing live music, but going out to hear live music is one of my favorite things to do. So when that got shut down, I won't lie, I went through like a season of depression to where, because I hated being in the house. I couldn't do it for a while. I almost lost my mind to the point where I was just having to do something. Whether it be walking down the street or just getting a workout in, something to pass the time, because I couldn't deal. Calling my friends over, even though we weren't supposed to be doing that in the middle of the pandemic. I still people up playing cards. I had to do something to keep myself together, because I almost lost it. I can't lie. The pandemic almost got me the first couple of months, but I got it together. Because then, we kind of found as artists, I feel like it's very important that you find, because you never know when a pandemic is going to hit. You have to find different creative and innovative ways to make what you do work. Because thankfully, I had a 9-to-5 that took care of the bills. But again, some people, other artists, they do this for a living. That's how they pay their bills. So you have to find a way to make it work. And that way, later on, we, started doing the virtual shows. And truth be told, I did my first one in March of last year. And I made more money in that show than I had ever made singing on a local stage here in Huntsville.
I remember that.
Yeah, wow. Literally. It was crazy. So that gave me the boost that I needed to keep going. Because I knew, we had a curveball. When life threw you lemons, I could have said that for my answer earlier. I made lemon water.
Answer?
I made lemon water out of that whole situation.
Yeah.
And it worked in my favor.
Yeah, and a lot of places did shut down and kind of stopped. Like where I play on Sundays, they had us on like musician rotation or something like that, where it was like I'm the only drummer, but like one of the dude, the worship leader or whatever, he's like he comes from like a Kojic background. So
What coach?
oh, is that what you came from? Your background?
No, I grew up Seventh Day Adventist.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so all y'all music is fire. I already know. Y'all don't play no. Oh, okay, all right. Well, okay.
Yeah, we may get into that later, but yeah, keep going.
And so like he would play one week and then they had me playing the next week and then off and on because they didn't know how we were gonna do this thing. And it's like 4 of us in the pit. It was just him. Like he was just the only one singing all the songs and doing everything, and we would just play, And so we did that throughout the whole pandemic, like the peak seasons of it. It was just us, and we still in there masked up. You know what I'm saying? Playing, trying to be safe.
Gotta make it work somehow.
Yeah. So I mean, at one point in time, I thought they were gonna they never took a Sunday off. Like I thought we would get like one of them off or something like that for us to kind of like figure out what we were doing type stuff. Because some churches just, they took a couple of weeks and had to close or whatever, and they just kept going. So
and some people now I see they pre-record sometime during the week and then air.
Airing on Sunday.
Yeah. Do you like playing for the church, or would you rather play for? I know I'm not interviewing y'all. I just was curious.
I like playing out more because playing out more allows you opportunity to actually minister to folks and stuff like that. Like I'm not in it so like ministering part. It's just that was my first gig, was playing in the church.
Yeah.
But I had my own set at the crib before that. Like before I didn't, like I started on pots and pans, and my mom saw the vision and then just like blessed me with a set for Christmas one year, 2000. It's like the first drum set I ever had, and I was lit. And so, playing all the time and stuff like that. And so I started playing for a church in Scottsboro, Alabama. Started at 9, played until I was about 13, 14 around the time I went to high school, and then I transitioned into like more so the band throughout high school. And so I did the band all 4 years, section leader, played quads, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I feel like people like that are in the church get so caught up in the church that they misconstrue like what it's all about. Like, and it's like y'all kind of like judging the same way that these people that get in buildings and be so self-righteous and stuff like that. And it's hard for me. I'm very authentic. So it's really hard for me to like be around people like that for long without being like, all right, I'm out. I'm good.
Yeah.
And so, that's the reason why I like playing out more.
Yeah, I'll say the same. Like, I get that question a lot. One, coming from a super religious upbringing. And church was literally from birth till 18 years old. That's all that I knew. Again, thankfully, I had a mother who was a singer. So she kind of exposed me to different music, but still, she didn't let me go too far off into the deep end. Like me singing R&B at 17 and 18, like how I do now, probably would have been a no-go. Literally. And I get that question a lot, like, how does your family feel about you singing secular, and as they would say, worldly music? And that's my thing. It's so many more people that you can minister to in the world.
Absolutely.
Versus in the church. Because I feel like a lot of people in the church, they know it all. They feel like they do, at least.
Right.
But you have the humblest people who are out in the world who just want that encounter and that experience with God. And although I sing R&B, you would know that if you listen to me sing, you would know that gospel and God is at the forefront of everything I do. Everybody hears the gospel influence, period. And I always try to incorporate faith and those different types of things in what I sing. I can be singing an R&B song, like I did a show, I sing Lovely Day, and at the end I sing When We All Get to Heaven, what a day of rejoicing that'll be, and I incorporated in that.
There's nothing wrong.
Because, you know, and you never know, somebody who doesn't know who God is may have heard that and now they're interested.
Mm.
And then they're like, okay, she was singing an R&B song, but who is this God character? Who is this, you know?
Exactly. Leads people to ask more questions and get
There we go. You know, it's all in your approach. You don't just have to force God and religion and faith on people, but it's just something like that. Slide it in there, and then there it is. Now you spark interest.
I like it that way better, because we had actually got a heated discussion at one of our rehearsals recently. They were like, I don't know how we got on the subject, but they started talking about like creating this gospel lounge or something like that, right? And so I was like, well, why even call it a gospel lounge? I was like, because you're separating. I was like, you're separating it from people that, I was like, people that don't come to church are not going to come to your lounge because they feel like it's a gospel lounge. Like,
that could be very intimidating.
Exactly. That's the other thing I said. Because for me, it is, because I'll be real, I don't listen to a lot of gospel music. Not anymore. I used to listen to it all.
You had to.
Facts.
Yeah.
And so, like, I listen to, like, Stomp, you know, a lot of the older stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jay know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and, like, I mean, and then now I've gotten more into the kind of the more contemporary gospel stuff, like your Tasha Cobbs, and I got a little bit into the worship music, and I didn't really know what that was coming from. Oh man, with the words on the screen and the ball bouncing on the word, telling you when to sing, and I was like, dang. And so, like, you know, seeing that coming from an AME church, everything's slow, and we all just kind of, you know, going from that to something that was actually entertaining, which was different, opened my eyes to another world of music I didn't understand. And then the same thing in high school, being in concert band taught me more of the musicianship side of being a musician, like intricate pieces of music and learning and, you know, stuff like that. So it got harder and harder for me to just be in the church all the time because it just wasn't fun anymore. But it depends on the people. It depends on the vibe. It depends on where you are in your spiritual walk and stuff.
Yeah,
like that, you know?
It starts here.
Facts.
First and foremost. If that ain't right, nothing else, you'll never be perceived the way you feel like you want to be. Because people see here first.
Right.
And that's why I kind of try to, I make that a priority to make sure I'm good here. Even with not even singing gospel, like singing R&B, you have to come from a pure place. And I feel like that's something, even with me not being a recording artist yet, that has kept me afloat because I'm good here. I try to be. And I try to spread love in everything that I do. I put a lot of love into my music, singing other people's songs. And that's a big thing with me too. Singing other people's music, I never sing it the way it was recorded originally.
Okay.
My mom taught me that long time ago. She always said, if they want to hear it that way, they can either play it or call who's singing it to come sing it for them.
Okay.
When you're singing there, you give your interpretation of the song. You tell your side of their story, if that makes sense.
Man, I got something I can say to that.
You know what I'm saying? Don't sing it exactly the way you hear it originally. Kind of put your own, tell your story, but through their lyrics, if that makes sense. Especially if it's a story that caters to you. So yeah, that's what I try to do.
I was a part of an event. It was like cool, but what you just said, like it was. They had us. I was a part of a different group. I have a group at that time, but the guy that was promoting it like had all his friends as artists go like first or whatever, right? And so that part was cool. We didn't know that we were going to technically be headlining. We thought that we were just going to be in the lineup somewhere. And so it was like a whole bunch of trap artists that went before it. And it's like, I listen to trap music, Gucci Mane, I do all that. But it was just interesting. I was just like, so where do we fit in this? Because it's like, how do you just insert us into this? And then like a lot of the people that were doing covers before us were doing them like exactly the way that the song was. And I was like, this is weird. I was like, because to me, it was weird. And then some of these other people were rapping songs with their tracks, like with their voice already, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's the case. I could have just listened to it. Like, I don't really need you here for this. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. So that kind of stuff, I feel you. I can speak to that.
Like, that's a huge pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Even if I'm going to different people's shows, I'm like, hey, it hurts me. It grinds my gears. I'm like, why are we? I could have played the song for that.
Why do we?
I hate that. Make it your own.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that has helped me, like just making songs my own. It's helped. I've had, because a lot of things with being a artist, these different venues, this is a struggle too, like a struggle point for me. They require you to have recorded music to sing at these different places, which is cool. And I totally understand that. But there are so many dope artists and talented singers and musicians who just aren't recorded, maybe because they don't have the resource, or some of them just don't want to be. And they miss out on great opportunities to share their gifts with the world because of that one thing. But again, I've been very grateful or very fortunate to be able to get in these places based off of my gifts alone. And that it's kept me afloat because people just are willing to give me a chance because they like, hey, you can sing. So you can put on a show. So come on and put on a show. And I do just that. And
you
it's
great stage presence as well. Like,
thank you.
Really good. Like it,
and that's one of my biggest insecurities, is stage presence.
It's everything.
I think I suck sometimes. Like when it comes to interacting when I have to talk.
Oh.
That's a struggle for me.
It could be weird.
It's weird. It's
that's
weird.
how it is for me.
Especially when people don't talk back.
Authenticity with, like, music and what it's done for me and how it saved my life in so many different ways, shapes, and forms, and how other people like don't value it the same way that you do. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to sing half of the song, or you want to just sing the top part of the song. You don't learn the song full out for you to be able to pay homage to it. Like, you're not even paying homage to the song by trying to just do this one part without even knowing it. And it's obvious that you don't know it. And I'm not going to argue with you about that because it's like, that's your ego. I don't have time to fool with your ego. It's like, if you want me to be a part of your group, just kind of like send me a list and then let's figure out if we gel or not. Because if we don't gel, I don't have to come to like 4 rehearsals to figure that out.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge part of it. We gotta.
Yeah. Got to.
Gotta. We have to.
Yeah.
It's detrimental that we're like this. Like when I play with different bands, like that's another thing I guess you have to be comfortable with as an artist, is being a chameleon, being able to coexist in different settings. And again, everything is not going to be the way you're used to it being. But a big thing for me is this: like, we have to be a united front. We got to gel, if anything. We have to be able to make magic, even in uncomfortable settings. We got to be able to do something, make some shape. We got to have an understanding musically.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got to be like that for sure. Even with or without rehearsals. Like, I've had times where people are like, hey, come on up here and here's a mic and make it happen.
Right.
And I'm looking around, looking at musicians, and sometimes it works out good, and sometimes it's a total mess because we're not here. We're not here with it. But you have some musicians, like the ones that I currently work with, amazing.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell them much because we automatically just have that connection.
How did you guys come about meeting?
Pat Jamar is who usually plays keys for me. He's an amazing artist himself. So if you haven't heard his music, Pat Jamar is his name. Check him out. He's dope, super talented. We met through, y'all have heard of course, R&B Vibes.
Yeah.
R&B Vibes is, of course, where I got my start. That's where I first started out singing 2 years ago. I did a show for R&B Vibes, and a couple shows down the road, Pat Jamar was the key player.
Okay.
And I think we did last $2.
Okay.
And it was random. It was like an open mic. And when I got up there, it just flowed. And ever since then, he was always at the forefront of my mind. So when I kind of started, I branched off and I started doing my own thing, I reached out to him and it just worked.
Yeah.
Literally. And the rest is history. Here we are today, 2 years later, and we still rocking.
And Jazz, we got one more question for you as far as with this segment. What is your plan going forward? I know we talked about like, what you've been currently doing and how you overcame, the difficulties as far as like with the pandemic and whatnot. What would you say is your plan going forward to elevate your existence in this field of musicianship, if you will? Excuse me, can't talk that.
Oh, you got it.
Number one, music, getting my own music. Again, I saw where that was kind of holding me back a bit from just better opportunities and advancement as a musician and a singer. So getting that done is key for me for now. 2, traveling a little bit more, getting outside of my norm, because it's a thing. I've been talking to my folks about it a lot. Huntsville is one of those places, it's so comfortable to the point where it's too comfortable.
Yeah, this is true.
And I never want to be in a position where I'm chilling and I'm good just being in Huntsville and singing locally. I want to branch out and travel and share my gift, whether it makes it to Indonesia, Africa. I want to travel and do more things with my music outside of not just Huntsville, but Alabama in general. So yeah, those are 2 of my major things as far as advancement with music, traveling and original music.
As far as, I'm feeling it, but like, when are you gonna, venture out to Memphis and do that? Because I think you can hang with them personally. I do.
If my best friend heard me saying this, she'll probably cringe. I'm really scared of Memphis, y'all. I am so scared of Memphis. My best friend's a singer. All of her folks sing. But being around them, I get a little nervous, y'all. So I feel like just me doing it more, I'll be more comfortable. Just singing a little bit more. And when I'm ready for prime time, world stop. Because it's going to go up from there.
For sure.
Fair enough. Okay, so how about this? When you going to come to the Music City, where I am, here in Nashville? When you going to come back and, perform here? Because I don't, I think Nashville probably falls just a little bit under Memphis because, Nashville obviously is country music based. That's what they specialize here in. You can catch like some jazz and some blues in certain spots in Nashville, but commercially it's country, so
country music. I got the Opry and all of that.
Yeah.
But I actually got something in the works. I won't say when and where because I don't know exactly yet, but I'm working on a gig in Murfreesboro, if I'm not mistaken. Wow. Yeah. So we're communicating back and forth. So definitely this year, for sure, is what we're talking about. We're just trying to map out a date to come down. And if I can have my original music done by then, that'll be even better because I can charge a little bit more for me to come down. So
definitely have to keep in touch because number one, I live minutes away from Murfreesboro, so that's number one. So definitely the wife and I have to come out and like support it to like listen to you live and stuff because we haven't been able to do it as much for obvious reasons for the pandemic. Yeah. We'll occasionally make date nights and stuff and go downtown and go to like different like bars and stuff. Like we go there's this place called the Boogie Bar here at Printers Alley. Okay. It's kind of like New Orleans theme, Mardi Gras theme, but that's where all of the jazz and all of the blues and all of the type of bands that come in that's not really country. It's its own R&B type of vibe. That's where we usually go listen to live music, and we haven't been there in over a year. But
have you been to Bourbon Street Blues?
Bourbon, yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, the Boogie Bar.
Sang there.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
I sang there. Like, it started off, I went for an open mic. My manager at the time, he literally was like, we're going to Nashville. Yeah. I hopped in the car. I got there, and he was like, yeah, your name's on the list. I put a song that the band, I had no clue who the band was, because I think they have a segment to where they have random people. If you want to come up and play, you can play. And if you want to sing, you can sing. So it's literally me singing with a bunch of aspiring musicians, and we made it work. That's how I did it the first time at Bourbon Street Blues. So I'll never forget that. That was a very unforgettable experience.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's cool. It's real cool.
I don't think I've been.
Bro, we'll have to, like, when stuff get right again, you and I have to go out, with the wives and stuff. It's dope. It's drinks and all of that stuff is nice.
Good food, good vibes.
Yeah, good vibes.
Cool spot.
They have every time we've gone, bro, like you said, because like every night, because they have it like to where they have like a different band and stuff coming like pretty much every weekend, or even every Friday, Saturday, whatever. And every time we've gone, it's been like fire. So that's dope that you performed there and whatnot. Man, that's dope. So
that's gonna always have a special place in my heart. That's a cool spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's low key. Like local for you in Birmingham, anywhere, like any night spot, regular spot?
Oh yeah, I've done there's a spot called Magnolia House in Birmingham that I've done. I did the Perfect Note in Birmingham. Shout out to the Perfect Note. They were one of those places that gave me an opportunity, because usually they require you to be recorded prior to coming in, and I had no music, and they were literally like, based on talent alone, we're gonna just give you a chance. And they did, and that's a huge spot in Birmingham. Some of our favorite artists have been on that very stage. So for me to even have the opportunity to stand on the shoulders of giants in that way, I was just beyond grateful.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was huge for me. So that's a huge platform too. Perfect Note is pretty cool. So if y'all have never been, you should check Perfect Note out.
I have to remember that.
Yeah, Perfect Note is cool.
What do you feel like is one of the things that's holding you back from recording?
One, I'll say, like, again, if we're being very honest and transparent, fear.
Okay.
Because you want to be good. When you put something out for the world, and I believe in putting my best foot forward no matter what. Excellence is always huge to me. It's always been big for me, especially when it comes to something that I'm passionate about, like music. I want to give people, like, when I'm a listener and I'm a consumer. So when I buy stuff, I want to make sure I'm buying something that's quality and that's good. So I want to make sure I'm putting something out that's worth people paying for it. Not just people streaming just because they want to support me, but people being like, you know what, I'm going to buy this because I actually like what I'm hearing, versus I know this chick and I just want to get it and I'm going to stream it for whatever. No, I want people to get it because they actually want to hear it.
Perfect.
So that's kind of one of those things. I don't just want to put something out. You know, because we hear people all the time like, hey, check out my mixtape, and you listen to it and it's a pile of crap. It's like, oh, did you record this in the bathroom, the closet? I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be a totally different experience.
Respect.
I want it to be dope. Like, I literally want to put out some great content.
Like Ryan Leslie, with how he does his stuff, he gave people his phone number or something like that. And he was like, if you want my album, you'll just call me and then I'll give it to you directly or something like that. Or he had some kind of direct link that people could access his album, pay for it, and then listen to it and
That's
give
dope.
feedback on it or something like that. And it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it did kind of blow up. But you know, he's always been independent for the most part. Do you feel like being more independent, or would you want to go the label route?
Definitely independent.
Yeah.
Just based off of like a lot of the artists that I follow, I can name a few. Like Avery Sunshine is one of my favorite performers and singers. Kendrick the Family Soul, y'all know them? Y'all heard of Kendrick?
Yeah.
Independent artists, and I follow them a lot, and they always talk about the importance of being independent artists. And it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit more difficult, of course, financially, because you're literally paying everything out of pocket.
Yeah.
But it's so much more worth it. Like just being able to have that set for my family. Like even if I were to make it big with my music, I'll own everything. I'll own everything. So nobody will have the upper hand over me and my music. So I would definitely go the independent route.
But I say when you make it big.
For sure. When I make, come on now, you gotta speak it.
I'm saying.
When I make it big,
Speak
it.
I will be an independent artist in Jesus' name.
Here's I mean, do you have any like crazy questions or anything like that for us?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever done that before.
But just throwing questions at y'all.
Yeah.
I'm a talker, y'all. I like to talk. Once you get me talking, I'm gonna keep talking.
Hey,
it's on.
Again, I like to talk, and I've always thought about doing a podcast, but I'm so unfiltered. Like y'all are getting the filtered me because my mama may watch this, so I gotta keep it cute. So how do y'all feel like you have to filter yourselves with your platform, or are y'all just free form? Y'all putting it all out there. Say what you want to say. Do what you want to do.
Go ahead, Jay, because I see the look on your face.
Number one, I'm not gonna speak for T because I don't want to throw him in this boat. I've been purposely filtered on purpose out of respect for you because because you know me personally, we usually are pretty.
Yeah, we go in.
Oh well, Jay, now for the last few minutes or whatever, hey, be you.
Hey.
Yeah, when it's just us on here, we kind of go in like we was pretty much just straight up what it was. Like my ass was fumbling on the name of the show and couldn't even say it right, and it was just a lot. Oh man, like, I was just like, "Welcome to the," but we left it.
Lemon water.
Yeah, like man, we just kept it real like that and just left it on there because we wanted to see the growth and we wanted to be able to look back and laugh at that stuff because
there's so much beauty in it.
You know what I'm saying?
It really is.
Right, and it's still going to be polished in its own way. You know what I mean?
Literally.
So, I think that real people could appreciate that. So we put effort into it. We meet about it. We have like production meetings. We call each other, text each other. I mean, we're real life people. Like we friends. We got in trouble together, like through school and shit like that.
My Lord.
It's like a whole lot of stuff. Like we done been into some mess. Like. So, like, we have so many different stories, huge film buffs, we're huge music people, and so we like to have people come on the show and just talk about their passions and stuff, too, raw and unfiltered. I mean, you know, if you want to be filtered, it's totally up to you, but you always want to remember how you spent each moment, because if you spent moments trying to be filtered because you were worried about or concerned with someone else was thinking, is that how you as a person want to be remembered for the sake of yourself? It's a growth thing, man. You know, it's like relationships. Like you want to get better at being able to communicate. Well, you got to communicate to get better. Yeah,
well, don't feel like y'all got to filter it for me. I was just trying to keep it cute because I didn't know if my mama was going to watch.
I respect it.
But we can definitely be as unfiltered as we want to be.
I'm gonna be giving me all the time. She's like, "You said that on the show." I'm like,
Yeah.
That's a learning thing for me right now too. Just kind of still transitioning from being my mama's baby.
Yeah.
I'll tell y'all this funny story. Like the first time I ever sang in the secular world, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2.5 years ago. Now at the lumberyard, that was where I did it the first time. My mom came and they were blown away. Literally the next day, my mama called me and she said, she got the whole, I'm proud of you. You know, I never seen you kind of just open up like that.
Right.
And just, share your gift with the world. So she was very happy to see that.
Right.
Because truth be told, even in college, I sang a little bit. I did the choir thing, but a lot of people had no clue that I sang. People still tell me to this day, like, girl, you don't even look like you sing the way you do.
Yeah.
But she called me and she said, you know what this means, right? And I said, no. What does it mean? And she said, well, you're singing in the world. So that opens up a totally different door outside of what you're used to.
Right.
You're going to be exposed to some of the best and the worst of people and experiences. And she was right. She was definitely right about what she said. But her position was more so like, I don't want to lose you to the world.
Man,
be in the world, but not of the world. In a sense,
I feel like that's on her to trust the young woman that she raised.
And I have to constantly remind her of that. Like, you raised a good kid. I've never been to jail. I don't do drugs. I don't sell drugs. That's not my lifestyle. I did dabble. I am a fun, but I'm a good person. I try to be a good person most of all.
Yeah, Jazz,
like I tell her that all the time. Like, you have to trust the young woman that you raised me to be.
That's right.
And, what I'm saying? When you raise them right, train them up, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're grown, they'll never depart.
That's true.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I know home is where the heart is. I always keep home right here. I always keep in my mind, respect yourself first and foremost.
Fact.
You have to, how you present yourself is key.
That's right.
And I don't ever want to live a life that's very disrespectful or people perceiving me in a way like, oh, Jazz down with the BS. That's definitely not it.
Nah. And then you get every opportunity you get, shut it down. You know what I'm saying? Like
that. And I tell people all the time, all money ain't good money.
Fact.
I've had people reach out to me to do gigs and shows in places where I won't step a foot in. And that's just period. I don't care how much you're trying to pay me. Some things I just won't do just based off of my beliefs.
Is it the vibes or is it just the particular buildings?
It's the spirits. I don't do spirits.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? I don't. I have to fill out these places when different venues call me. I check them out. I've had people reach out to me to be worship leaders, even when it comes to church. Yeah. I can't sing in everybody's church.
It's true.
No. And I've had people offer me enough money to quit my job to come and just sing in their church on a Sunday, whatever day.
I've had that offer me to play.
Yeah, and I've had to turn it down just because of the spirits. It's not there, and I'm very big on where I'm at, like being around certain things, certain people, because that stuff can jump on you.
Yeah, if you're not careful.
Literally, if you're not careful. And in the industry, in the world, it's even worse. It's even worse. I don't knock people for their lifestyles and how they live their lives, but I've had women try to come at me like, hey, I can do this, and this for you if you do this, and this for me.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, it's real.
Literally. Women, men, they try to sleep with you. They try to get you to drink this, take that, smoke this, do that. I'm telling you. And at this point, I'm just doing this on a local scale. And this is what I'm experiencing. So I can only imagine once I reach this point.
Yeah, when you have a talent, it's definitely like that. Like with me, I mean, the different churches I played in and stuff like that, you have like girls come, women come with it because it's like women in church usually be single or whatever, and it's like with me, I don't ever like messing up my opportunities, like where I make money. And it's not all about money, but it would just be kind of like, I ain't about to mess up my business. You know what I'm saying? This is my business. This is what I do. This is one of my crafts that I have, and I value it. And so it's like, if we meet, you know what I'm saying, and I like you, you like me, and then it kind of just develops into a relationship kind of thing, or it just develops into something, I got to be open for it first off, and I got to like make sure I holler at my spirit guides and make sure that that's like accurate, But a lot of people kind of just go right into it. They just use, they forget about their gift, the way that they need to use it for the right reasons and stuff. And then it turned into a whole like cluster.
Turned into a whole nother thing. And now you're in a situation to where you're in this lifestyle and you didn't even bargain for that.
True that.
And that's just based off of who you are connected to and what you were connected to. Yeah. And that's really big for me. Like I'm not for the spirits at all. Again, I'm a believer first and foremost. Some stuff I just can't do.
I feel like it comes down to who you have around you too. You know what I'm saying? That's running with you through this whole thing. Because if you don't have like good, like righteous people with you in your circle and stuff like that, you can run into all kind of mess.
Yeah, you said something like the people you're connected to, even in the industry. I'm finding a lot of people want to prostitute your passion. People see that you have a talent and they want to capitalize on your talent, but for their gain.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it be for more notoriety or money, financial. For now, my experience has been other people using me and my gifts just because they know I can sing for free. You know what I'm saying? Because I just like to sing. That's kind of how it started out. Like you saw that I had a passion and I had a talent, and you put me up and people enjoyed it. And I enjoyed that for a while.
Right.
And I was singing for free with no problems just because I enjoyed what I was doing. But then they getting shows and like, hey, if somebody call you and they want you to come, I'll play for you and I'll do this and I'll work on the business. And here I am still singing for free.
Yeah.
But the band got paid.
Yeah, that's
and without me, there would be no band. It would be no reason for the band to be here if I didn't get the call. Yeah. But everybody else got paid. You got paid for finalizing the gig. You got paid for playing for the gig. And again, here I am with my passion and my love for music and my gifts. And there's nothing.
That ain't cool.
They prostitute your passion. I literally went through that still. Like I just made up in my mind this year of being very intentional with eliminating the middleman.
Yeah.
I don't need a manager. I don't need nobody to book anything. I don't need, like, the last show that I did with the lineup and things. It's cool sometimes, but for the most part, you have to, be a bitch when it comes to some stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
I need to be the headliner. I need to get paid XYZ. If I'm not last, I'm not getting up.
Oh, wow.
And it has to be like that sometimes because people will literally prostitute you when you have promoted their events. You have done all you can. You brought your crowd. Like I said, most of my shows, my family, they travel from Birmingham or wherever they are to come to where I am. I'm bringing people to your events, but again, I'm the one who gets nothing out of it other than good job. We can't do that no more.
They ain't gonna cut it.
Literally, that's the worst feeling in the world. Feeling prostituted for something that you're passionate about. So
and you are the one that's essentially making it happen. You know,
literally, y'all. Like it's crazy out here. People, they will play you to the left, all while hyping you up in the background. Like, oh, you great, you this, you that. I want to support you. I want to do this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, they eliminating you the whole time. And then they're trying to get their come up off of you. It's like when they see you going to the top, that little rope that's hanging down, they hanging on, trying to go up there with you. Everybody can't go to the top with you. I'm learning that too. Even if we started together, it's okay if we don't end together. Because sometimes, somewhere along the way, sometimes with certain people, you just gotta, you go your way, I go mine, and I see you when I get there. That's just what it is sometimes.
That's where we be at. That's real.
Yeah. It was funny because I posted a lyric from Drake on Facebook, because I don't really post a lot on Facebook anymore, but when I do, it's usually like a lyric or it's something sports related. But I put up, he said in one of his songs, starters playing like bench players. My bad, bench players playing like acting like they starters. I hate it. Started from the bottom, nigga, we made it. So that line resonates with me because you have a lot of people that's like, what he means, like the bench players acting like they the starters, like they the ones that's winning the game. They're the ones that acting like starters, that acting like they, and I put that on there, and it resonated with me, not personally, like I know somebody that's like affected me like doing that now, but I just like, it just reminded me a lot of what you just said,
Yeah.
And it's true.
And that was in the humblest way possible. Literally, but it's just through my experiences that have gotten me to this point. Like you get tired of being played,
Same.
You really get tired of being played, especially doing something that you're passionate about.
The more that I learned about each individual, it kind of let me know, okay, this person, I kind of gave you a little bit more credit than you needed for certain things. Because when I see how you do things here on this level, it's like, well, yeah, you're not ready for what's out there. Because if you're not practicing on your craft and working on it and it shows, then it might not be the move for you for real.
Literally. So, I'm telling you, this year alone, we 3-4 months in now, and so much has happened in 4 months in my music environment.
Right.
I can't even, it's crazy, y'all. I'm telling you, people falling off, fake love, fake support. I'm telling you, this industry will literally, if you allow it to, it will take you and swallow you whole. If you allow it to, you have to be very spiritually stable.
Yeah.
Financially as well, because a lot of that stuff is going to be tried just because you want to be an artist.
That's right.
That comes with the territory. If you don't already have money and if you don't already have those other things, you're gonna take a lot of L's. You have to be prepared to take a lot of L's in the industry. In life in general too, but like in the industry specifically, when you're dealing with music too, especially secular music, you're gonna take some L's, literally.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough, but I'm hanging in there though.
And the L's don't necessarily mean losses. It could mean lessons. So
there we go. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Really, most of my L's, from what I thought were losses, they have become huge lessons for me.
Beautiful.
Huge.
I love it.
Lessons.
I know what you meant.
Blessings and lessons all together. There we go.
So,
yeah, for sure.
So real quick before we get up out your Jazz, you shout out any website, social media platforms, anything, just shout it out and it'll be on the screen here for everybody to check out as well.
All right, cool. My Facebook is just Jazz McKenzie. That's Jazz McKenzie. And my Instagram is ITS, just JUST, Jazz, JAZZ, Music, MUSIC. And yeah, follow me. I do follow back, by the way. I'm not that grand. I'm not that person. I follow everybody back unless you're a creep. As long as you're not a creep, you're going to follow back.
I'm glad you put that disclaimer out there because there's
definitely, because there are creepy people who pose as normal folks.
Oh yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
So, guys, we've had It's Just Jazz here tonight on Lemon Water Chronicles podcast. We really appreciate you for coming through. You could be anywhere else in the world, like Jay said, but you chose to spend this time with us, and for that, we are very grateful. So, come back.
Will do.
And I mean, do you have any lasting words for anybody, Jazz?
Live and let live, y'all. That's all I got.
Well, I've been your host, T.
And this is J.A.Y.
Yo, and tonight we had It's Just Jazz on the show. And don't forget, man, when life gives you lemons, make lemon water.
I love